Surah Ar-Rahman. Surah Ar-Rahman consists of 78 verses, including the Makkiyyah surahs revealed after Surah Ar Ra'd. It is called Ar-Rahman, meaning the Most Merciful, taken from the words of Ar-Rahmaan which are found in the first verse of this chapter. Ar-Rahman is one of the names of Allah. Most of this chapter explains the generosity of Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala to His servants, namely, by providing unlimited blessings both in this world and in the afterlife. The main contents of Surah Ar-Rahman. Some of the blessings of Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala that can be felt in the world. It is mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 1 to 13. Allah the Most Merciful has taught the Quran and created humans, teaching them to be good at explaining. Allah also regulates the movements of the sun and moon according to His calculations, and subordinates plants and trees to Him. He created the high heavens and established the scales of justice and balance so that humans would not exceed the limits of these scales. Allah has also made the earth spacious for His creatures with various fruits, date palms, seeds, and fragrant flowers. This verse confirms the favors God has given to humans and jinn, which should not be denied. The origin of the creation of jinn and humans, mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 14 to 25. These verses describe the creation of humans from dry soil and jinn from smokeless fire, confirming the blessings of God that have been given to jinn and humans. Allah is the Lord of both places where the sun rises and sets and allows two seas to meet but still has a barrier that cannot be crossed. From these two seas come pearls and coral as blessings of God that cannot be denied. Allah also created a man-made ship that sails on the sea like mountains, reaffirming the blessings of God that have been given to jinn and humans. Everything other than Allah will perish. Mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 26 to 30. Everything on earth will perish, but the face of God who has greatness and glory remains eternal. All creatures in the heavens and earth always ask Him, and every day Allah handles their affairs. This reminds jinn and humans not to doubt the blessings of God that have been given to them. Allah's threat to disobedient acts. It is mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 31 to 36. Allah will pay attention to humans and jinn, and remind them not to doubt the blessings of God that have been given. Humans and jinn are asked to try to penetrate the corners of the heavens and the earth, but are reminded that they will not be able to do so except with the power of Allah. In addition, they are told that there will be punishment in the form of flames and hot copper liquid that they will not be able to avoid, so they must acknowledge the blessings of God that have been given. Description of the Day of Judgment. It is mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 37 to 45. These verses describe the horrors of the Day of Judgment where the sky is split and its color becomes rose-red like oil, reaffirming the blessings of God that have been given to jinn and humans. On that day, humans and jinn will not be asked about their sins, and sinners will be recognized by their signs and receive the appropriate punishment. They will enter the hellish hell that they lie about, going back and forth between hellfire and very hot boiling water, while Allah continues to remind them of His blessings which have been denied by the jinn and humans. Reward of kindness for the pious. It is mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 46 to 61. For people who fear God's majesty, 2 heavens are provided which are full of various pleasures, such as trees with branches, 2 gushing springs, fruit in pairs, as well as angels that limit the view and are beautiful like yakut and marjan gems. All these pleasures are provided as a reward for the good deeds done by God's servants, and remind jinn and humans not to doubt God's favors that have been given to them. Additional kindness rewards for believers in the afterlife. It is mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 62 to 78. These verses describe that in addition to the 2 heavens mentioned previously, there are also 2 other heavens that are dark green in color, equipped with 2 springs that continue to gush, fruits such as dates and pomegranates, and inhabited by noble and beautiful houris. The houris are secluded in tents that have never been touched by humans or jinns before. They recline on green pillows and beautiful carpets, while reminding us of the greatness and glory of God that we should be grateful for. Conclusion of Surah Ar-Rahman. Surah Ar-Rahman describes the various blessings of Allah that are bestowed upon His servants through the creation of nature and all its contents. This chapter also explains the recompense in the afterlife, including the conditions of the inhabitants of hell and heaven that Allah has promised to those who are pious. In the context of faith, this chapter affirms that Allah taught humans to speak, that trees and plants are subject to Him, and that all of nature is a blessing for mankind. Humans were created from clay, while jinn were created from fire. The laws outlined include the obligation to measure, and weigh fairly. In addition, this chapter emphasizes that humans and jinn cannot escape the power of Allah, Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala, and notes that many humans are ungrateful for God's blessings. This chapter also conveys prophecies about things that will happen, which have proven true, such as the Suez and Panama Canals.